Hi, we're on cue.
I'm Liz. I'm a music supervisor.
I'm Trish. I'm a film director, and we are going to dish about music and movies and life.
How you doing, Trish?
I'm pretty good. How are you, Liz?
How's your week been?
It's been, fine. How's your week been?
Always good. I went to Mexico City.
The pictures are fantastic. You had a blast, didn't you?
It was amazing, actually. It was a really great trip. Got to see so much culture and history. It was amazing. The pyramids were fantastic. And have a couple of little treats for us later on.
Oh, I can't wait.
I know.
Well, it's good to have you home.
Thank you. Yeah, we missed you guys.
Us too.
So it's time for Trish's film. We did a new format. We started it a few weeks ago. I did a film. Jenny's done a film. And now, Trish, it's your turn to tell us all about your film and soundtrack. And I cannot wait for this.
Mine is a bit of a genre-bending film. It's got a little bit of magical realism. It's got a little bit of comedy, a little bit of romance, a little bit of friendship story, a little bit of action. It is called Wormhole Showerhead.
Wormhole Showerhead?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like Jumper meets Seeking a Friend for the End of the World meets Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Okay, here's the logline.
Go on.
Beatrice, chronically anxious, self-sabotaging, and losing the battle with late-stage capitalism, downsizes from her already tiny apartment to an even ittier-bittier place, only to discover that the ancient showerhead in her creepy little bathroom is actually a portal to any place on Earth. What will she do with her new telepathy superpowers? Can she repair ruptured relationships, heal old wounds, and learn to embrace a world of change and adventure and mystery? Or will she make an even bigger mess of her life?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how she found out that how the showerhead is this portal.
Well, you'll have to see the film.
Yeah, no, I'd like to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's going to be starring Geraldine Viswanathan as Beatrice. She's a young Tamil and Swiss actress. She was in Blockers. She's one of the teenage girls in Blockers. She's been in Miracle Workers. She was actually in my brother's movie, The Beanie Bubble.
Oh, yeah.
She's really, really talented. I think she is one of the most underexposed, underused big talents in that sort of like late 20s age range. I think she's really, really funny. I think she's really dry. And I think she's really smart.
So she plays the lead.
So she's Beatrice. Now, she's also going to be dealing with some long-term family issues in this film. Her parents are played by Poorna Jagannathan, who is another favorite actress of mine who I think doesn't get enough airplay. She was the mom in Never Have I Ever. She's also in a new show called Deli Boys, which is good. She's just, I think all I need to say about Poorna is her Instagram handle is pornography, which I think is so fucking great. Also, she had her house featured on Architectural Digest or something once. I can't remember, but she like basically has this insane, beautiful, colorful, wildly creative home. I just really want to know her and work with her. I think she's great. So that's the mom. The dad will be played by Bob Odenkirk.
Oh,
okay. For his sort of sardonic, dry as dust kind of wit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a love interest. It's actually an ex. Part of the reason Beatrice is in such bad shape, she had a really gnarly breakup. The ex is Bo Burnham. And then there's a couple of best friends that figure heavily. One is going to be played by Rachel Sennett from Bottoms and Jacob Wysocki. Do you know this guy?
I feel like I know the name.
He's another person that just should be in more stuff. He's just a really funny, I think he got his start in improv. He's just this kind of goofy, physically funny dude. He and a friend had a podcast for a while called Expose, where they would go to conventions and podcast about these like crazy subculture conventions. He's just very smart and quirky and silly. So those are her two best friends. There's also a scene-stealing supporting role of the landlord of this particular magical apartment unit, Leslie Jones.
Oh, I love Leslie Jones.
Mm-hmm. So that's the basic cast.
Where is it set?
It could be kind of anywhere. It depends on who's going to give us tax rebates, most likely, to shoot. But I mean, I picture it being a big city because of the high cost of living and the density of tiny apartments. But it really could be anywhere because I think there's sort of a housing crisis, an affordable housing crisis everywhere right now. Mm-hmm.
Are there any animals in it?
There are a lot of animals in it. No pets. Well, maybe I should give her a pet.
Oh, I think so.
Okay. She'll probably have
Not a cat,
dog.
though.
No, cats are too hard to work with.
Oh,
on
okay.
camera. Yeah, they're very hard.
What about an old dog? Then it could just lie around in the background and not cause too much of a headache.
Maybe. I mean, you know what the tough thing about working with dogs on camera is you usually have to have a couple of them to play one dog.
Yeah.
And so if they have too much personality, it's hard to find a double for them, which sucks, which is why people always have like the most generic looking dogs in their movies, because you can get like 3 German Shepherds, you can get 3 golden retrievers, whatever. But like, can you get 3 pound mutts that are 9 years old and look exactly the same?
No.
Right.
Okay.
So
well,
we'll
I'll
have
leave
to
that one
think
to
about
you
that.
for casting.
Yeah. But I
Okay.
would, okay, let's give her a dog.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So she has a dog.
So how does the film start?
Well, the opening credit sequence, I would like it to be almost like a Bond movie, not in tone, but in the sense that it is a discrete sequence that sets the tone of the movie without necessarily showing any of the characters yet or anything. It's going to be a very stylized, almost like a music video. And it will be water molecules and water moving through pipes, moving from pipes out into the ocean, moving from drains down into pipes, moving from the sky into droplets. It's going to be basically the movement of water around the planet, because of course that's the vector through which, well, we haven't gotten to the rules of the wormhole showerhead yet, but it is all about water and the way water moves and changes form and shows up everywhere. So yeah, it'll be this sort of homage to water on our planet, both the way humans interact with water and the way water just kind of moves on its own. But here's where I need your help. So it'll be this very graphic, stylized opening credit sequence before we know the story, before we've met any of the characters. And I'm trying to figure out, I would like to do a cover of the Modest Mouse song, Float On.
Yes, love it.
But I have 2 that I have found, and I want you to help me choose which one you're liking best.
Okay.
One is by Moyer, featuring Juno Marie. Let's listen to that one first. I'm trying to set up that this world has physics that we don't completely understand, and that things change form, and there are mysteries, and there's so much going on behind the scenes that we don't necessarily see or take time to notice, and a sense of awe and strangeness. I definitely want a female voice, because I feel like this is all from this woman's perspective, this film. So I want a female vocal here.
I know I'm definitely getting all of that from that song. I think the strangeness, the etherealness, her vocal, the instrumentation, and the fact it's much slower than the original. I could see that working really well over an opening sequence.
Yeah, I think so too. And some of those plinky sounds almost sound like drops of water.
Yes.
Now try this other one on for size. It's by Lindsay Ray. You know, very different sound. I quite like the orchestral elements.
I love the plinky plonkiness. Can I say something to you?
Well, her voice, right?
It's
annoying.
It's annoying. I think if you could have some of that plinky plonky mixed with the first one and the first person's voice, perfect.
Well, this is where it might be time to introduce who is going to be scoring my film, because this person might be able to help us with this.
Great.
Okay. It's going to be scored by Phoebe Bridgers.
Oh,
interesting choice, right?
Very.
We all know she's a fabulous songwriter, indie, folksy, guitar, whatnot. But she does have some experience orchestrating. She sometimes teams up with this guy, Rob Moose, to do orchestrations. Her Copycat Killer EP is a bunch of orchestral versions of songs from her Punisher album. I think all of her music, even the non-orchestral ones, are very cinematic. You know, we've placed songs of hers in my films. And she actually went to my kids' high school. She went to the Los Angeles County High School for the Arts.
Really?
Yes. And so I happen to know that to get your music diploma from there, you have to know a lot of theory and orchestration. They just make kids do that. So I know she can do it.
Right.
Technically. And maybe she could cover this song.
Well, I was just about to say, if you've got Phoebe Bridgers scoring your film, all due respect to those 2 artists, I think you get her to do a new version of Float On.
Her voice is so perfect for this.
With your favorite parts, using those songs as reference, but, you know.
But let her flesh it out into something new.
Sure.
Right. So here we are with Phoebe Bridgers singing a sort of orchestral, but also very ethereal and mysterious version of Float On. And the last shots of this bring us to a sink, not the magical shower, but a sink where she's like washing her hands and it's like a kitchen sink. And we just sort of go right into her life, which is at this point very normal. So the spell is broken. The water connects us in, but now we're into this woman's life and we're starting to learn who she is. And, you know, she's clearly just moved to this new apartment. Maybe she's on her phone talking to someone so we can hear her. You know, maybe she's late for work or something. And
Does she have a, yeah, I was going to say, what's her job?
I think she's probably an Uber driver. She drives for Uber Eats, maybe, in that way that young people often have to do now. She's just trying to cobble together enough money to pay her bills. She's driving for Uber Eats. She occasionally babysits or walks dogs. Like, it's that kind of thing. I think maybe she gardens sometimes. She's just trying to make ends meet.
While she's figuring out what she's going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
How old is she?
She's late 20s. I'm saying like 27, 29.
Okay. She doesn't want a career, or she does?
I think she wants to be a landscape architect.
Oh, lovely. Did she go to school for that?
No, she hasn't had money to go to school, so she's trying to save up.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've come in and she's at the sink and she's doing her thing. And then how do we find out that she has a magical shower head?
Well, it happens by accident at first. And of course, it's pretty awful because she's naked. So
she's in the shower?
Yeah, it happens. What happens is you have to be in the shower with the water on. And maybe we should get into the rules of the magical shower at this point.
Well, I'd also like to know, like, has she been there? Is it straight away? The first shower she has, is it magical shower head, or has she been there a few weeks?
Yeah, she's just moving in. So maybe the conversation she's having on her phone, or maybe her friends are with her. Maybe that's better. Her friends are with, no. When we first meet, well, we're going to get to that because she can bring people with her, but there are specific rules and we'll get to that.
Okay.
It's pretty awkward. So when we first meet her, I think this would be a good chance to either the parents or the friends, or maybe both. Everybody's maybe been helping her move to her new place. So they're all there. So we can meet everybody right off the bat. So we understand that she's never spent even one night in this apartment, and she'll be all grungy. Maybe she's saying goodbye to everybody. Thanks for helping me move in. I got it from here, whatever. And she's all grungy and gross. So she's going to hop into the shower.
Got it.
We will learn the rules as we go. In fact, there's a montage coming up where she's sort of exploring how this works, and we'll get a lot of information. But basically, you know how shower heads, you can kind of turn it to adjust whether it's right. So when the water is on and you turn it, that's what that's what sends you.
Activates the portal.
Yes. That's what activates the portal. And you have to be under the stream of water because the water is part of the magic.
Right.
So you land in the place that you go in exactly the condition that you left in. So presumably this first time she's naked.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So kind of like the time traveler's wife, she shows up somewhere naked and she's going to have to deal with that. But this first time, she doesn't understand that there is a little bit of control over what direction you go and how far. The very first time, she's going to end up in the Midwest, in like the middle of a field that's being irrigated, because she has to land somewhere wet because she's
And does she land with a thump, or she
she kind of like...
She doesn't like drop down from the sky?
Almost the way water droplets condense. It will be a visual effect. Do you remember the Terminator movies where he was like made of titanium and he was it's that, but water, right? So she's a bunch of droplets and she just kind of condenses back into herself, but it'll always be wet. So she'll always end up in a pond, a swimming pool, a bathtub. In this case,
she's
a field.
Drawn to the water.
Yes, because she's traveling through the water.
Got it.
So she lands in a field that's being irrigated in the Midwest, probably a soybean or a cornfield. There are people nearby, but thankfully not right nearby. So she's going to be able to get her bearings to the degree that that's possible and find some clothes and whatever. I'll leave all of that for the viewers to see.
Okay.
But she realizes something really fucked up is happening, right? And she doesn't know if it's some drugs she took.
She hasn't twigged that she turned the shower thing and that was the answer.
No, she doesn't know what's happened.
Okay.
Like what? I mean, can you imagine if you just went to take a shower and landed in a field? You would not know. You would assume you were high or like something.
Yeah.
Most of when she learns the rules are in this first montage, which comes up at the end of Act 1.
Okay.
You know I love a good montage.
Me too.
This is where we learn the rules of this thing. And she starts to have more a spirit of adventure and exploration versus just being freaked out by it. The song that I've chosen for this is Running From Myself by Katie Baser.
Do you know what that sounds like a bit to me? You know that bass line? It's a bit like Man-Eater. boom, 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 boom.
It does have kind of a man-eater
Doesn't it?
bass line.
Has that kind of feel to it. I like it.
I like the lyrics of it for the fact that she is trying to, in some ways in her life, run from herself, manically running around trying to figure things out. But also, she's literally globetrotting all over the planet in this.
Does she ever know? Can she choose where she wants to go?
Yes. So this is, well, she can't choose exactly. Here are what some of the rules that she figures out. The temperature dial on the shower determines the direction that she goes in. So it's 360 degrees, and it's basically a compass. So she figures out that when it's pointing up, it's north, and when it's pointing down, it's south, and everything in between. The water volume, because that's on a separate little handle in the shower, that is how far she goes in that direction.
Oh.
So she starts to figure out if she barely turns it on to like a drip and stands under it, she could jump to like the other side of town or maybe a few blocks down or whatever, right? To her parents' house, which is maybe on the other side of town. So she starts to figure out how.
Like, could she jump over to the UK?
Yeah, but it'd be pretty hard. Part of what happens in this montage is her getting it wrong, like thinking she's jumping to the UK and ending up in
Iceland.
Yeah, exactly. She also figures out that if she wears clothes in the shower, they're going to get soaked, but she will land in her new place in her clothes.
Got it.
So she'll be wet and she might end up in like a fountain in the middle of a town, or she might end up in somebody's kitchen sink while they're doing dishes. Very comedic stuff like that can happen, but at least she'll be in her clothes.
Right.
And then she has to deal with trying to either explain to people what's happening or not. She also learns that she can bring people with her, but the rule is some part of their body has to be in her mouth when the magic happens.
Well,
yeah.
just like the finger. Put a finger in there?
Could be a finger. At one point in the end of Act 2, when things get real hairy for various reasons that I won't go into right now,
Okay.
she has to bring her parents and her 2 friends with her. So picture this. All 5 of them are going to pile into the shower, and all 5 of them are going to have, or 4 of them are going to have a finger in her mouth when they turn on the shower. And when she adjusts all the dials just so. That's a good set piece, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Music over
like
that.
them all getting into the shower and all fumbling around.
So there's a B story going on through this whole thing about her relationship with her family. She's got a bit of a fraught relationship with her parents, and it's based on some big family secret that involves money and corruption in Europe, where her dad has been up to some shady shit.
Oh.
So the dad's life is in danger, basically, because he's in with some bad guys. And the whole crew, the friends, the parents, and the ex are going to have to go over to Eastern Europe to try and sort this out. It's kind of a heist at this moment. It kind of turns into a bit of a heist. So she's gotten good enough at her aim and her throw at this point in the shower that she thinks she can probably pretty accurately get them over to Romania or Bulgaria or wherever they have to go.
Right.
So here they come, and they all 5, 6 of them pile into the shower, 5 of them with their fingers in her mouth. She turns the dials just so, and off they go. They land in the Danube River.
Right.
Wet. So there's probably going to be like a big chase scene through the streets of some Eastern European town, and they're wet, and it's the parents, and it's the friends, and it's the ex, and it's her, and they're running around, and they're being chased by the baddies.
Okay.
Now, the song that I have picked for that, I think you're going to really like.
Great.
The artist is Goran Bregovic. The song, I can't pronounce the title of the song. It's something like Kaya Sukarya Kochek or something like that.
Okay.
Here, this is what it is. Picture them running around.
I love that song.
Yes, I think it's very cinematic, isn't it?
Oh, crikey, is it?
I just can picture them running through the markets and the baddies are coming for them. And think of Bob Odenkirk and Purna and then the young people, and they're all running around and they're wet and they're,
Who's the boyfriend?
Bo Burnham.
Oh, Bo Burnham. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Oh, great.
So the physical comedy, but also like a really good chase scene and some beautiful shots of Eastern Europe. I mean, I think this takes them all over the place.
Yeah. Oh,
so
fab.
Yeah.
Now, is it one of those things where they're running and the baddies, is it like in the car and they go down a a cobbled street,
Totally.
and all that kind of stuff.
It's
and then,
like Born Identity type stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, they're going to have to
great.
jump into a car. Like some messenger gets out of a car, leaves it running. They jump in,
yeah.
you know.
What, like they all pile in? They're all
Probably,
together
but
the
there
whole
might be,
time.
maybe if they can't, maybe someone's on a motor scooter. Someone grabs a bicycle. Someone else grabs like a horse or a donkey that's pulled up to and grab. Like,
And do they like, and then do they get shot of the baddies? They get away from them. They don't like kill them or anything.
Nobody's going to get killed, but I'm not going to promise you they get out unscathed. Let me put it that way.
The baddies?
Anybody.
Oh, okay.
But you'll have to watch the movie to see.
I have one question. When they've done their business, or she's done a business when she landed in the irrigation field and stuff, how does she get back?
You'll have to watch the movie to figure
Okay.
You'll have to watch the movie to figure out how she gets home. My script writer will have to handle that part.
Okay. Because she can get there, but I was thinking, how does she get back? And is it like a limited amount of time, or she can be there as long as she likes?
I think what happens probably is that it wears off and she wakes up.
What, she feels the magic going from her? She's
Well,
dried
maybe-
out.
Maybe, yeah. Actually,
got
no.
us-
You know what? That's really smart. When she's dry, she wakes up in her bed again.
She got to
or goes
keep
back.
wet in
Yeah,
some
she's
way.
got to keep wet in some way. That's
Yeah.
brilliant. That's what it is. Yeah, she's got to keep wet in some way. Thanks for that idea.
To stay there,
Yeah.
and then when she dries out,
She's
like
back.
it could be sweat,
Mm-hmm.
could be anything, just any kind of moisture.
Imagine like in a restaurant, she just throws a glass of water on her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then she's like, "Oh my God, I'm drying out,"
Yeah. That's what it is.
and then
That's
she
perfect.
just has to keep herself moist.
That's perfect.
Do you think I could say moist one more time?
We could call it moist. That might be
Yes.
a better name than Wormhole Showerhead.
I know there's a bit of love interest. Does she get back with him?
People will have to watch the movie to find out if she ever gets back with her boyfriend, played by Bo Burnham. But I will say they do hook up at one point in the second act. And
In the shower?
no, believe it or not, there is a really, really hot sex scene in a dumpster.
In a dumpster?
Mhm, in a trash dumpster.
That would never be hot for me. I couldn't be dealing with that smell.
That's what everybody's going to say. And they're going to think so. And then they're going to watch this. And they're going to be like, hot damn. That is the steamiest sex scene I've ever seen. And it's in a trash dumpster.
What's in the trash dumpster? Next
Trash. Like gross trash.
in bags or just randomly floating
Little
around?
bit of both. And they're so hot for each other at this moment that
Right.
it doesn't matter. It's just a filthy fucking hot sex scene in a dumpster. Now, I do need a bit of help with this one on the music because this will be tonally a bit challenging. Obviously, we want to really make a hot, but comedic hot.
Let's get it on. You
No.
know how we love that one.
I know, no.
No, not for this one.
These are two songs that I've tried to get into every single movie that I've ever done.
Oh,
They're
God.
not, don't worry.
Is it
it's-
Jeffrey Osborne?
Don't worry, it's not Jeffrey Osborne, unfortunately, which actually I'll add him to the list because I do think Stay With Me Tonight could work here. No, the two songs, and I think you like these two songs. I hope you like these. I know you like one.
Thompson
of them.
Twins.
Thompson Twins, Hold Me Now, or the Pixies, Hey.
Oh, tunes. Love them both.
Now, should we hear both of them? And you can tell me. I want you to picture the scene. She's taken her boyfriend, fingers in the mouth, or was it fingers? So,
What do we see? Is there a prosthetic involved?
I mean, I don't think his cock should be in her mouth, but
Right.
I do think it could be something sexier than fingers, although fingers in the mouth could be pretty hot.
Look, if you've got to put something in the mouth, the easiest thing is the finger. Everyone's going to do that. But her
Tongue.
boyfriend
Could be tongue in the mouth.
is going to do something
But
different.
they're estranged, right?
No, I know, but they kind of, you
I know
know.
they're still hot for each other.
Yeah.
So the reason they're traveling together is they're scoping out what, like, she's asked for his help to go try and, this is before all the shit hits the fan with the family stuff, but she knows that something's fucked up and she's trying to figure it out.
Right.
And so she brings him with her. And he's grudgingly going because she needs a companion on this adventure. So something of his is in her mouth and they're clearly still, sparks are flying, but they're, broken up. They land on a beach in a fishing town. Her aim is still not great enough yet to get them all the way to the Danube. So they're somewhere in Europe on a beach, probably Greece.
Yeah, I was thinking Greece.
Yeah.
That'd be a Greek island.
Maybe they're on a Greek island. So it's kind of romantic, but they're in this fishing town and they're going to get discovered quickly. So they jump into this dumpster.
What,
And
that's on the beach, the dumpster?
it's a wharf dumpster. So there's like fish entrails in there.
Oh, what the fuck?
Uh-huh.
No,
So I want
no
you to-
one would do that.
In my movie, they will. So now I want you to listen to these two songs. We have to pick one today. Is it going to be Hey or is it going to be Hold Me Now?
Yeah, let's have a listen to Hey.
I mean,
I know which one for me. It's the Pixies.
yeah, because of the grungy dirtiness, right?
Yeah.
It's so filthy. There's a reluctance in that song. And that's part of what the wharf dumpster is. It's a symbol for their relationship, which is just a trash heap.
Right.
And yet there's something still so hot about it. It's smelly and it's dirty and it's messy. And they find themselves in there and they just want to fuck.
I think fish entrails is a little hard for me to stomach.
Even with that song playing, that doesn't make you just want to be like, I would have sex in any situation if this song came on.
I don't think with fish entrails. Can we just take them out just for a minute? Do we have to have them in there?
Are you directing this film?
I don't think the Pixies will give approval if there's fish entrails
The
in that
Pixies
scene.
will 100% give approval.
Okay. Well, I mean, would you? With the fish entrails in the dumpster?
If the Pixies were playing.
Well, they're not when you're having sex. You're putting that on after. The people are in the dumpster, landed. They're in there. They're like imagining the Pixies in their head.
Don't you kind of think that that is the best needle drop in a movie is when it's basically what would be playing in the character's head. So I do think that they're hearing something like the Pixies.
I think they're hearing that or something grungy.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're just like in their own world. They are like, I don't care what's in this dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
I am hot to go.
Well, they're very bonded on a very deep level, even though their relationship has hit a very dark place.
Do they take their clothes off?
Yeah.
Fully off?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan of like a ton of nudity, and I don't know Geraldine Viswanathan's outlook on that. So I'm not going to necessarily need to see a ton of body parts, but yeah.
Okay.
Now,
Is it real, full on, passionate, or is it lovemaking?
both.
Oh.
This is a world of contradictions that we're having. This beautiful love scene in a disgusting trash heap. People that hate each other and love each other at the same time. Rough and ready, wild, passionate, can't keep your mitts off each other's sex, and tender lovemaking. It's all in there, Liz.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for doing that for us all with the Pixies. So they're spent after their lovemaking. Do they just lie in the dumpster together in each other's arms and have a conversation about what's happening next? Or do they, we got to get out of here and jump out the dumpster to the next adventure?
They realize that they're starting to dry out, despite the sweatiness of their lovemaking and the wetness of the fish entrails. They're not going to be wet forever.
Right?
Wink, wink.
Well, but there's probably some moisture around
Yeah.
that might tide them a little longer, tide it over a
Oh,
little
you
longer.
think they go twice?
Yeah, why not?
Maybe someone comes to throw trash in the dumpster and finds them. I don't know. You'll have to watch the movie and see.
Okay, we are fully watching this movie.
Yeah.
So after we finish with the Pixies and we go on to the next adventure, maybe Phoebe Bridgers could take us on that journey to the
Exactly.
next stage.
Exactly.
So is there a lot of score in this?
I think that there is a lot of score in this.
Okay.
I think that there will be a lot of cinematic shots because she goes all over the world. There will also be a lot of comedy. There will also be a lot of emotionality, and there will be a lot of magic, and there will be a lot of interesting shots of water, all of which will lend themselves to a lot of music. So Phoebe will have to do a lot of scoring. I would like it to be an orchestral score, but not in a cheesy way, in a really interesting way that could be interwoven with her guitar and her voice. I would love to have her voice all over this score, not necessarily singing lyrics, but
as an instrument.
as an instrument.
Can I ask you,
Yeah.
are you a fan of when you go to Italy, we have an Italian sounding score? When we're in Greece, we have something that sounds like Zorba the Greek.
No.
When, you know.
Only in this chase scene where I really want this guy. I
Yeah.
actually don't know where Goran is from. I think he might be Lithuanian, but or I'm not sure. But in a moment like that, when you're really showing the overwhelm of that culture for a visitor, it might be appropriate. But just in terms of setting the tone, no, I think that it can be whatever's appropriate.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you?
I'm not a fan of that. I don't need everyone to tell me, like we said before, I'm in London.
Yeah.
I'm in Italy. I'm in Greece with the music. I can see it.
It's
So
a little bit on the nose.
too much on the nose.
Yeah, agreed.
Can we go to the end? What's happening? Where do we end up?
Well, I think the A storyline is her figuring herself out. And the figuring herself out looks like, how is she going to make ends meet? Is she going to be able to live alone? Because she's been with her boyfriend for a while. And this is her presumably first time in an apartment by herself in several years, if not longer. So can she make ends meet, live by herself, figure out a way to go back to school for landscape architecture, or become a landscape architect without going back to school? What is she going to do? That's the A story. The B story is repairing her relationship with her family, repairing her relationship with the ex, not necessarily getting back together with the ex. I won't spoil it whether she does, but at least getting some closure there. Healing her old wounds is the B story in order to move forward, which is the A story. The way it all ends, people may not want to hear this.
I do.
The way it all ends, things are looking up. She actually got a new job, redoing some very fancy person's garden, whatever. Things are looking up. Friendship stuff is going well. Boyfriend stuff, whether or not they're getting together, but they're doing well. Family stuff settled. She comes home feeling pretty good about herself after a big, dirty day at work, goes to take a shower, and without her knowing it, her landlord, Leslie Jones, has replaced the showerhead.
No. So she can't travel anymore.
There's a note on the door or something that's like, surprise, surprise. I finally got him around to making some updates or something. She's like, oh my God, what? And she goes rushing in, and there, a brand new, glistening, like Home Depot shower head, and the old one's gone. And that's the end.
But does she then go on a hunt to try and find it?
Well, I think that would have to be another movie. And I'm not sure this has a sequel. That leaves it open for it. But things come into your life when they're needed. And when they're not needed, they disappear, right?
Right.
Now, that will lead into the final song. Maybe it starts when she sees the note on the door and she has this sense of foreboding.
Oh, she's like, crikey, no.
And the song that will come in is Motion Sickness, Phoebe Bridgers.
Oh.
Because, of course, she's been traveling. Motion sickness, get it?
Yeah, I love it. No, I get it.
She sort of wistfully takes off her dirty, dirt-covered work clothes, turns on this new shower, gets in, maybe just thinking it might work, twists the thing, nothing.
No.
And just starts to shower, and we see the dirt from the garden just swirling down the drain. And we see her wetting her hair and letting the water wash over her. And maybe the swirling dirt takes us back into the pipes and something that kind of bookends with the start of the movie. And then the end credits will come up over all of that.
Wow. That was a ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a ride.
I'm getting a little misty thinking about the ending.
I loved it, Trish.
Thanks, Liz.
I would love to be able to work on that with you as a music supervisor.
All right. Well, I will probably hire you. We'll see. I'm just kidding. Of course. Of course. I would like to direct it. I think I would like somebody else to write it because I would like somebody else's eyes on the details.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get too close to something. I like to write scripts, but I think that this one I need to have somebody else in there, especially for the comedy. And maybe a young person who kind of understands what it's like to be 27, 28.
Yeah. Okay.
So in theaters soon, everybody.
Yeah, I'll be there. Trish, are you ready for a cocktail?
100%.
It's my turn this week. I have brought you this bottle of mezcal back from Mexico City, actually from the pyramids. I can't say the actual title of the place where it's from, the name of the place where it's from.
Sure.
But this has a scorpion and a worm.
How incredibly fabulous and exciting.
So I'm going to pour. So we're going to have this mezcal, and there is a way that we drink it.
Okay.
So I'm going to just pour it in here for you. Then I also have some orange.
Okay.
And then what we do, and we have some worm salt.
Worm salt.
Worm salt. Excuse fingers.
What makes it worm salt?
It's ground down.
It's ground up worms?
Ground up worms
Oh.
with some salt. So here we go. I'm going to bring this over to you with your oranges and your worm salt.
Thank you. It is so... I'm going to keep this bottle forever. It is a very, very beautiful bottle. Scorpion and worm.
I wanted you to eat them, but I think you have to wait till the mezcal is finished.
I'll definitely eat them when we get down there.
I
I
know
don't
you
want to
won't.
waste a drop of mezcal
And I
trying to
want-
get those out.
This is what they do. You put a little drop on your hand, like that, and then you sniff, and you can get more of the flavor because, 80% of the flavor is in the smell.
Right. So it evaporates nice on the skin.
So it's better than sniffing it out of the glass. Cheers.
So wait a minute. We do a sip of this and then we do a bite of orange with wormy salt on it?
Yeah.
Cheers. Oh.
Isn't that nice? I quite like the wormy salt. Do you?
Same. It's got a really nice flavor. And it really complements. I mean, I feel like this mezcal is so damn smooth that you don't need any kind of fruit chaser, but it does complement it really nice.
Honestly, we don't need that because when I was talking to the mezcalero, he was saying that for this kind of smooth mezcal, you don't need orange. It's only when it's a bit rougher. But also as well, I think it's not as smoky as some of the mezcals we get over here. I've heard that sometimes they send over more smoky mezcals to us here in the States. And there's a lot more variety. And there's a ton of mezcals that just aren't as smoky.
It's very delicate and fruity. You're right. I almost taste no smokiness at all.
I think this is more a sipping mezcal. You could put it in a cocktail, but I don't think you need to.
No, it's got such a sweet, light flavor. It would just be a waste to put something like this in a cocktail.
And don't you think, I didn't know what your film was called, and how bizarre that I have brought a tequila for you with a worm in there and your film is
Wormhole Showerhead.
How bonkers is that? What does that mean?
That means it's going to happen. The movie's going to happen.
I think so. We'll soon see that when we pull a card at the end of the episode.
Okay. Liz, I've done a lot of talking today, so why don't you tell us what your favorite thing is this week?
I know I keep referring to Mexico City, but my favorite thing was the Frida Kahlo Museum just outside of Mexico City. It was a dream for me to go there. I love Frida Kahlo. I've always wanted to go there since I was in my 20s. It's basically the house where she was brought up in, and then she lived a ton of her life there. It's called La Casa Azul. And now she was 47 when she died in 1954. I don't know if you know much about Frida Kahlo, but she had quite a tragic life.
Yeah.
I just loved being there. It was so peaceful. I remember texting you when I was there, and I was I was very emotional actually. Walking through her house, I found it really emotional. I was very taken by the whole thing. I'm wearing this t-shirt, which is a picture of her last painting called Viva la Vida, and that means long live life. And it's just a part of the painting. That was painted a week before she passed away. There's not a lot of her art at the museum, but you get to walk through her house and you see her daybed she had near her studio and Diego Rivera's bed and the kitchen, and it's just amazing. I was moved by a song lyric right at the end of the tour. So you walk through her house and everything, and then you come downstairs. And there's a song lyric by Patti Smith. I think it's more a poem, actually, that she wrote after being inspired by walking through Frida Kahlo's house. And it's called Noguchi's Butterflies. Above Frida Kahlo's bed is a sort of collage of these butterflies that Noguchi had given her that she put onto a canvas. And so if you were lying on the bed and you were looking up, you would see all these butterflies. And it was gorgeous. Can I read you the poem by Patti Smith?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's called Noguchi's Butterflies. Basically, she walked through, she did the same walk as we did, and then came out, and then she wrote this poem. I cannot walk, I cannot see further than what is in front of me. I lay on my back, yet I do not cry, transported in space by the butterflies. Above my bed, another sky, with the wings you sent. Within my sight, all pain dissolves in another light, transported through time by the butterfly. And then she writes, this little song came to me like a little gift as I stood beside the bed of Frida. I give it to you with much love, Patti Smith.
That's pretty great.
Isn't it great? And as you come down the stairs, it's right there. And I was just like, I love Patti Smith. It was just really magical.
How awesome. I'm dying to go there. That's on my short bucket list.
I think you would love it. I think you'd really like it.
Yeah.
It's tarot time.
It's tarot time. What are we going to ask?
I think we need to ask something about Wormhole Showerhead.
Oh, you have follow-up questions for the deck?
Well, what I'd like to ask the deck is, we loved Wormhole Showerhead, and it would be wonderful to get that made. How can the deck advise us and help us to pursue those goals, and what advice can it give us?
Advice on bringing an idea
To life.
to life. The Judgment card.
Oh, that sounds scary.
Most decks show a bugle and people rising up out of their graves, literally out of their coffins. And it's kind of Judgment Day, but I think what it is, are you listening? Are you listening to the signals? Are you listening to the call when it comes? It might come from an unexpected place at an unexpected time. When it comes, will you jump up out of your slumber and answer it? So if you've been incubating an idea or toying with a possibility, when you hear that bugle, and it can be anything, it can be a phone call, or it can be a billboard that you see when you're driving along the highway, or it can be an opportunity that just drops into your lap, or a strange coincidence. When you hear the call, are you going to get up? You might have been in that coffin for a long time. Are you going to get up and go and do the thing?
Right.
And so I think that's just about paying attention. Keep your ears open, keep your eyes open.
But you have to do the work.
Well,
You have to rally.
you have to do your part. People aren't going to come and rip the lid off your coffin and pull you out of your funk, or pull you out of your composting state or your cocoon and force you into action. They're going to call you, and you're either going to hear the call and do it, or you're not going to hear the call and you're going to stay in your dark hole for a while. And that's fine too. Like, we're not always ready to move. But if you're really ready to move, then listen, and you'll know when it's time, and then jump.
Got it.
Even if it's in a direction or with people or in a place that you didn't expect it to come from. These things rarely happen the way we plan them. They happen the way they want to happen. So when you start to sense that you're being called to do something, get up and go.
Right. Thank you.
Before we get to the record of the week, we just want to remind everyone we've been getting some really useful and fun mail with great ideas and suggestions for episodes. So keep it coming. If you have something you'd like us to talk about, or you have some feedback for us, write to us at hello@oncuepodcast.com, or hit us on one of the socials. We also love reviews and we love comments. So thank you for reaching out. And now, Liz, what did you bring us for the record of the week?
Oh, gosh. I've got a real banger for us today.
You seem excited about this one. You're always excited about them, but you seem kind of giddy about this one.
I love this one. It's by an artist called Bailey. It's called Sugarcoat. It was released a few weeks ago. I mean, I love her. She's fierce. She's like badass. I think she's a pop icon in the making.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bailey.
Her press release, I love her press release. It says her music is made for hot girls, high femmes, and anyone who needs a soundtrack for their main character moment. But also for me, as I'm not sure of many of those things, but it's definitely made for me too. She's fronted a campaign for Milk Makeup. She had early mentorship from Rick Rubin.
Oh, damn.
I know. And Bailey says about this track, Sugarcoat is our final kiss on the dance floor before the lights come on. A slow burn plea to lie to me just this once and let me believe I'm the only one you want.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, maybe this could be played whilst they're in the dumpster.
I was just going to say, from the description, it sort of sounds like a dumpster fish entrails sex song.
Yeah, I think when you listen to it, I think you might like it for that scene.
Great.
I want to thank Johnny Caps and Bailey's management for giving us approval.
Love it. Thank you. We will.
See you next Tuesday.
Right on cue.